So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a complete checklist for your dropshipping and e-commerce business for things to get done before you start, so you set yourself up for the highest chance of success. Now, the launch in any business is so important, and if you don't do the launch correctly, you're probably not going to succeed. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys an 8-page long PDF file of a checklist that you need to do before you start or before you look into starting. Now, I'm going to be going over the checklist with you guys so you fully understand every point in detail, so you don't have any questions at the end of the video. Now, if you guys want this checklist, all you need to do is join the e-commerce for Kings group. There'll be a link in the description below so you guys can join the Facebook group, and in the file section you'll find this PDF file to download for free. Now let's get straight into the content. So let me go straight through the whole of this checklist with you guys so I can help you guys get set up with the best advantages of success in terms of getting everything done on this launch checklist sheet. So if you see me looking anywhere down here, it's because I've got my laptop on the desk so I can read it whilst talking to you guys. Now, the first thing that you guys need to understand to do when you get started is get yourself a credit card and a debit card. Now, why is a credit card important? I'm going to give you a real life analogy or a real life example. Let's say, for example, 200 people order something from your website. It costs you £1,000 to fulfill those orders. You've only got $400 in your account. You can't fulfill all those orders because you can't afford it. If you've got a credit card and you've got, let's say, £2,000 in your credit card, you can fulfill all of those orders and get them sent to your customers straight away. If you were to do it the other way and wait for the money to get put in your account, you're going to be waiting 7 to 14 days to receive that money from your payment gateway. Sometimes it can be longer, and that means you can't dispatch your customers' orders for 14 days. They're going to be pissed off because you're not giving them a dispatch number or a tracking number. They're going to give you chargebacks and they're going to ask for refunds. So that's why a credit card is really important. Another advantage of credit cards is you get more protection when you buy things online. So if you buy from a company and they don't fulfill on what they said they were, you can get the money back a lot easier. You get rewards. So for example, with myself, I get loads of cashback rewards, I get air points, I get loads of rewards on my credit cards, which is amazing. Now again, with credit cards, depending on who you are, if you're not 18 years old in the UK, you can't get a credit card. If you've got bad credit, you're not going to be able to get a credit card. And if you're new to credit, then you need to look into getting a credit card, guys. There's plenty of videos online on how to do this, so I'd recommend looking at some of them. Now, why is it important to get a debit card? Now, a debit card is what you're going to be using to put the money into. So for example, when you get paid through your website, the money's going to go into your debit card. So that's why it's important to get a debit card. Now, the next part is having a strong branding. Now, branding is so important. If you haven't got a strong brand, you're going to struggle in 2019. 2019 is all about branding and who's got the strongest brand within that niche or within that industry. Now, for example, if you look at the biggest brands in the world, the reason why they're known till this day is because their branding is on point. Their branding is done correctly. It's been driven out amazingly, and people just know. Like, when you think of like technology, who do you think of? Samsung, Apple. You think of all these big companies because they've made themselves dominant in that niche with their branding. Now, branding's all about what you're giving your customers in return for their money, and it's all about brand message. Have a good brand message, have a good about us. Other things are, you need to make sure that you've got a premium logo for your brand, and not just a premium logo, you need to make sure that you've got an amazing brand name. Your brand name is so important. It tells your customers what you're about before they've even come to your business or come to your website. Now, picking a business name is important, and again, I'm going to make a separate video on how to pick the best business name for your brand or your niche. But in the meantime, in the PDF, I have left a link so you guys can watch a different YouTube video on how to pick a brand name. And that YouTube video, oh my god, it's what I used when I first started, and that video taught me so much about brand names. The next thing you need to do, like I said, is make sure that you're getting yourself a real good premium looking logo that matches the professionalism of your website. Because if your website looks great but your logo looks terrible, it's not going to look good for your business. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to buy yourself a custom domain name. Now, I use GoDaddy. There's other things like Namecheap, but like I said, all the links will be in the PDF so you guys can access everything that I'm talking about, like GoDaddy. Now, the reason why you need a custom domain name is because, again, when people come to your website, if they see My Shopify, so for example, your business name, then myshopify.com, it just doesn't look very professional. It doesn't look very, like, the standards ain't very high with your business. Again, you can get in trouble with Facebook with not having a custom domain name. If you're running ads, you can actually get in trouble with them. So I really do recommend spending that extra $10 to $20 to get a custom domain name. It will make a massive difference. Now, another thing is you should always look for these two extensions in your domain name. So domain names have extensions. So for example, .com or or for example your businessname.com or your businessname.shop. Now I recommend you either get .com or .shop. Now the one that I do recommend the most is .com. Now .com is the one that most people are familiar with, so when your customers come to your website, if they see .com in the website URL, they're going to think, okay, that's fine. But if they say, for example, .org or .shop, they might be a little bit skeptical and think, I've never seen that before, why have they not got .com? So .com is the most like highly authorized domain name. Also, it gives you a better SEO ranking, so it does play a small factor in your SEO ranking, so it is important. The next thing you guys need to do is you need to make sure that you're getting yourself a business email account made, and you need to make sure that you get yourself a business PayPal. So let's talk about the business email. So a business email could be, for example, your store name at gmail.com, or it could be your info@yourbusiness.com, so it'd be info@ and then your business name.com. Now, why is it important to have these business email addresses? Because it looks more professional when you reach out to Instagram influencers. And if you want to know how to reach out to Instagram influencers, I'll leave in the card somewhere on how to find Instagram influencers. Now, when you reach out to these influencers, or people want to reach out to you, if you've not got a professional email, it just looks a little bit less professional. They're going to question your brand. They're going to question how big your brand is. Now, customers don't know how big your brand is. It's how you present yourself. You could look like one of the biggest brands in the industry. It's how you present yourself. Now, that's why that's important, guys. Also, you need to make sure that your business PayPal account is set up. And I really can't emphasize this. Make sure you've got a business PayPal account, because there's advanced features you get with a PayPal business account than you do with a personal account. Now, one of the main benefits is you can get multiple users on the account, so you can get people like staff accounts made, you can get accountancy accounts made, so if you need to get your accountant on there to do his tax and stuff like that, you can access it without any hassle. You get other benefits like you can add your business name, your logo name, your graphics onto invoices, onto the checkout. So if customers check out with PayPal, obviously it's a different, it's separate to your website, so your website logo won't transition over. But if you've got a business PayPal account, you'll have your logos on the checkout page and on the invoices. So it's really, really important. Make sure that all the gateways on your website are turned on. So your Shopify, your PayPal, your Amazon Pay, make sure that they're all activated and they're connected to the right accounts. Now, again, if you haven't got PayPal or Stripe or Amazon Pay in your country, I will leave a link in the PDF file to an article on the best the best payment gateways for your country. So don't worry if you can't get PayPal or Stripe or any of those other ones that I mentioned in your country. I've given you the solution for that in the PDF. Next thing you need to make sure that you do is you need to create the standard business information pages on your website. So your website should have these at standard. So the standard information pages your website should have is a contact us, an about us, a privacy page, a terms of service, a refund policy, and a shipping page. Now, when customers or consumers come to your website, the bare minimum they look for are those certain information pages. And the reason why they look for them is because, look, they might have questions. They might want to know what your terms of services are. They might want to know what the refund policy is. So if you haven't got these pages, you're going to decrease the conversion rate. You're going to decrease the time on your website, and we call that bounce rate in e-commerce. You're also going to want an FAQ page on your website. So instead of people leaving your website and having questions, they're going to get their questions answered on the website. I'd also recommend you add a tracking app in your website, so customers can track their parcels or their packages on your website. It means they don't have to come off your website, and it just means it looks more professional, which means your conversion will go up. Next thing you guys need to do is you need to make sure that your Facebook pixel and your Google Analytics tools are all set up. Now, this is so important because if you haven't got these set up, you don't know who's visiting your website, you don't know where they're coming from, you can't retarget them, because if they've abandoned the cart, you can't retarget them again. This is so important because you know who exactly goes on your website, you know what their behaviors are, you know everything. So if you haven't got Google Analytics or Facebook Pixel installed, you need to get that done. And in the PDF, I have left tutorials on how you can do these things, guys. The next things that you guys need to do is you need to install the top 10 apps. Now, the reason why I recommend 10 apps, now you don't have to use all the 10 that I recommend, but I do recommend the majority. Now, this is going to make the customer's experience a lot better, and it's going to make your business, it's going to make your experience as the business owner a lot better, because it's going to make things a lot easier for you. And like I said, I've left an article on the PDF on the apps that I recommend. Now, none of those apps are free, and the one I think is paid. But like I said, guys, these apps are really crucial and important to your website. So make sure that you take time out to look at those. The next thing you need to do is you need to create a marketing plan. Now, the amount of people that I speak to that say, look, Camille, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, I'm not making money, I'm not getting sales. And I say to them, look, did you get a marketing plan put in place before you launched your website? They're like, no, I just thought I'd launch it and go with it and go with time. And I'm like, you're crazy. You need to have a marketing plan ahead, because at the end of the day, depending on what niche you're doing, depending on what products you're trying to sell, there's certain marketing platforms that are best suited for your niche or your product. Now, if you haven't already, I'll leave it in the card somewhere. And the video is called 5 Reasons Why Your Ads Fail. And in that video, I'll talk about what marketing platforms you should be using for your business. So I really do recommend you watch that video at the end, and you can come back to this. But also, I'm gonna recommend 6 methods you can use to drive traffic to your website. So number 1 is SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So when people Google things like dog leash, you come up at the top of Google. Now, SEO is what I used when I first started, and it's what I did to make my first £10,000 in e-commerce. So SEO is so crucial, so important. I think you should only use SEO though if you're doing a niche store that's more long term. So if your niche is if you're gonna be able to be in your niche for, let's say, 2 to 5 years, then go with SEO. SEO is an amazing marketing platform that you should be utilizing. The next thing that you should be utilizing is pay-per-click marketing, or Facebook ads, or paid advertising. So that could be Google ads, that could be Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, Instagram ads. Now again, that's the fastest way to drive traffic to your website because you're paying for it. The next thing that you could use is blogging and social media. So you could add a blog to your website, so people could look for things like best dog leashes in 2019. They might go to your article, you might talk about your recommended dog leashes, and you could put your own leash in that article and obviously redirect to your product page. So that's one way that I used in my, so blogging correlates with SEO. So to rank well in the search engine, it's always good to have a blog. Now, blogging is what made me loads of money in SEO, because I was ranking for articles like best dog leashes in 2019. People would go there, read it, and then buy my dog leash from there. Social media, so growing your Instagram page, growing your Facebook page, and growing your business, your Facebook business page, your Instagram business page, your Pinterest pages, your Twitter pages. Social media can be a really fast, really profitable one. And I'll leave in the card somewhere a video that I made about the best free marketing methods you can use to drive free traffic to your website. So that'll be in the card somewhere, and I talk about some of these that I've just mentioned. Another one is email marketing. So email marketing is when people come to your website. So for example, you might have a light box on your website. Now, a light box is when somebody comes to your website and there's like a box that appears and it says enter your email for a 10% coupon, or you might have an email input at the bottom saying subscribe to our newsletter for discounts. Now, email marketing is when you create a list of emails that you've captured by using the 2 methods I just mentioned. And I will be making a video in the future about email marketing, so make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you turn post notifications on. But I'll be making a video about that. And like I said, email marketing is about collecting emails and then retargeting them after with an 80-20 rule, so 80% being value and 20% being promotions and offers. Now, the next thing you can be using is content marketing. So you can be going into Facebook groups, you can be going on Reddit chats, you can be going on Quora chats, and what you can be doing is provide value within that niche you're in, and in return, people might be checking your pages out, and then they might go to your website and buy. Content marketing is one of the reasons that I made a lot of money in e-commerce. The next one that I recommend is video marketing. So for example, Instagram video ads or YouTube ads, or you could be using a YouTube channel, so you could actually make a YouTube channel for your business. Now, this is probably best suited if you're doing a niche store. Create content on your YouTube channel, rank that organically, and you can get lots of traffic that way. And like I say, in the PDF somewhere, I will be leaving a link to everything that I just mentioned in terms of the videos that I recommend watching. The next thing that I recommend you guys do is you create your own descriptions and titles for your product pages. I can't stress this enough. The amount of people that use the generic AliExpress or Deal Extreme or DHgate or Alibaba product descriptions and titles is ridiculous. Now, if customers go to your product page and they copy and paste your titles into Google, they're going to find the exact same product where you're getting it from. You need to make sure that you're changing your title names. You need to make sure that you're using new descriptions. Yes, copy and paste the descriptions onto your product page, but change them. Check the grammar, check the spelling, add things that they've missed. But you've got to remember, guys, the people that you're getting your descriptions from China, Mandarin is their first language. English they struggle with, so their grammar is going to be poor. They're going to be, the effort they put into making these descriptions aren't good. So if you want to get a better conversion, guys, make sure that you take the time out to really enhance these things. And I will be making a separate video on creating title descriptions and product descriptions for your website so they convert really well. Next thing you need to do is you need to create a shipping page. Now, customize your shipping page to your store. Also test purchases, so make sure that in the Shopify settings you can test the checkout, so you can test to see if your website works when somebody purchases. It's called a test purchase. Now, if you don't know how to do that, YouTube it. There's loads of videos on YouTube on how to do a test purchase on Shopify. If you're doing WooCommerce, I think they've got something similar. Just YouTube it or Google it. Next thing that you need to do is make sure that your images are premium quality. I can't stress this enough. People go onto their Shopify website or their WooCommerce website and they put such crap images on their website, and then they complain why they don't get conversions. Customers look for premium quality images. Now, why they look for premium quality images? Because they want to know what they're buying before they're buying what they're buying. They want to know what it's going to look like. They want to know exactly what they're getting. Now, if you have got images that are good images, but the quality are just not the best, then I've left a link in the description. I've left a link in the PDF on a website that I use that enhances the quality of images. So I can take an image that looks a little bit poor resolution, a little bit pixelated, and I can put it through this website, and it comes out looking amazing. Like, it does magic to the images. I've left a link in the PDF for that, guys. Another thing is your images are as good as they can get, so make sure that your images are as good as they can get. And like I said, you can use what I just mentioned to do that. And also make sure that your images are what your product look like and they're not a false version of what they're doing. So if your image doesn't represent really what your product looks like, then don't put it on there. Also, I'd recommend you add videos to your website in terms of the product page. Add a video of showing off how your product works. It will boost conversion by loads. Like, I can't emphasize what videos do, what a video can do of describing what your product does in conversion. It can make a massive difference. Make sure your default package in shipping settings, change the default package weight in the shipping settings to 0. This could interfere with prices if you're doing free plus shipping on a weight-based scale. So you don't need to really worry about this if you're doing if you're only doing free plus shipping. You should worry about that. Optimize all your images on your site. So for example, make sure that all the images on your website are compressed, because if they're not compressed, it means they're large files, which means your website will take longer to load. Now, if your website can't load within 4 seconds, you're going to lose so many customers or so many visitors, and that's because people's attention span is less than 4 seconds. So make sure that you compress the images. Now, there's loads of compression websites on Google. Just type in image compressor and it will compress the image and make it a smaller file. Also, make sure that you add alt text to your images. That's a way for Google to read your images, because Google can't read images, they can only read text. Add social proof pictures to your website. Now, I briefly went over this before. Add images of how your product actually works in life and how it works in real life scenarios. Like, for example, if you've got a dog leash, show how the dog leash works. Another thing that's probably better than this one is add a video, which is what I just mentioned. Add a video to your product page. It does a lot more than what a picture can do. So that's what I really do recommend you guys do. Make sure all images are the same shape. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. The amount of people that ask me to check their websites out and their image shape sizes are all different shapes. You've got that shape, that shape, like rectangles, squares and ovals and shit like that. Like, you need to make sure that all the shapes are consistent throughout your website. It will look more professional and people will think, okay, this looks smooth, this looks clean. So make sure you do that. Now let's move on to functionality and usability. So make sure the communication on your website is on point. Now, your visitors want to find your information fast. So this is really important that you make sure that the information is easy to access on your website. So for example, about pages, refund pages, make sure it's easily listed in the footer. So make sure that they're all listed in the footer because it means that people can get to what they need to get to in terms of communication a lot faster. Make sure that your website is mobile friendly. Enhanced. So for example, I've gone onto people's websites, they look amazing on desktop, go to mobile, they look horrendous. So make sure that your websites are optimized for mobile versions, because like I said, it will make a huge difference when you're doing ads or organic growth for your website. If your website's not mobile optimized, you're going to lose lots of sales and lots of customers. Next thing that you guys need to do is make sure that the navigation on your website is clear and easy to access. So the search bar is easy to see, the menu page is easy to see and easy to navigate. Next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that the colors consist on your website of 3 colors, white, black, and the primary color of your website, of what your logo is. So if your logo is primarily blue, then make your colors white, black, and blue. Very simple. but like I said, it's very effective. It looks simple, clean, and very brandable. So that's what I recommend when it comes to colors. Fonts, on the fonts on your website, make sure that you've got 3 fonts at maximum. I only use 2 fonts on my website. The reason why you shouldn't use loads of fonts is because it looks unprofessional and it takes ages to load your website up if you use loads of fonts. The next thing that you need to make sure that you got is simplicity on your website. So make sure that your website is simple, easy to navigate, clean. Your website doesn't need to be fancy for it to be successful. It just needs to be simple and clean and easy to access. That's all customers want, guys. The next thing that you need to make sure that you've got is email selection input. So make sure that your email subscription input is, let's say for example, you got an email light box, so when people come to your website, after 10 seconds they'll see a light box saying enter your email for a coupon. That's one way to get emails. And also you can add in the footer, a subscription in the footer, for example, subscribe to our newsletter or deals or offers, and that's how you're going to get emails to build your email list. Next thing, you need to make sure that you've got social media links in your website. So make sure that I recommend you have no more than 3 social media links on your website. I already do recommend no more than 3. So that's a really important thing. Now, why is it important to have social media links? Is because at the end of the day, people can understand your brand a little bit more. People can understand what you're about. People can see your interaction with your followers or your likes on your followers on your Instagram page and your Facebook page. They can see what your brand's really like because people want to connect with other people, not like robots. So if you come across as a person, you're going to enhance your experience with a customer, which means you're going to get more sales. Incorporate a call to action button before the fold. So the fold is at the top of the website, the first part of the website. Now you need to make sure that you've got like a shop now button at the top of the website or a learn more button or something along that line, or the sale button at the top of the website. You need to make sure that you're using photos that illustrate what your product looks like. I mentioned that. If you've got a Shopify website, make sure that you remove the powered by Shopify in the bottom of the footer. Now there's loads of videos on YouTube on how to do this. Now the reason why I don't recommend it is because in my opinion, a lot of people now know what Shopify is about, so they can be a little bit skeptical when they go on your website. Next thing you need to do is make sure that the headers on your website are clean. So for example, the header is like the top bit and it's got the menu button on there, it's got the page names on there. Make sure that's clean and clear to look at. You need to make sure that your strip size, so your home page strip size, the first bit of your website, is small, not too big, because that will slow down your website speed, and it'll also put customers off because they want to be able to access what they want to see within 4 seconds. Make sure the products you're choosing are to do with the niche you pick. So if you're doing a niche and your products on your niche are irrelevant, you're going to decrease your conversion rate and you're going to get a lot more bounce rate. Remove the trust badges on your website if you're using trust badges like SSL certified. So if you're using SSL certified trust badges, payment provider trust badges, get them off your website and use the ones that are put in the PDF. Those trust badges do not work. They look stupid and you're making yourself look like an idiot. Customers don't need to know you've got an SSL. They can check that out for themselves on the URL, but on the URL section of your website. And the last thing that you guys need to do is make sure that the spelling and punctuality is at its best. Now you need to make sure that your spelling is all correctly done, and you need to make sure that the grammar and the punctuality is correct, guys. This is so important. If you've got bad spelling, you've got bad punctuality, it's going to put people off because they're going to question who's made the website, what the brand's about, is it a legit brand. But that is literally it for today, guys. That is the complete cheat sheet. That will be in the e-commerce for beginners group's file access section. And like I said, I will be adding to this cheat sheet probably every few weeks or every few months if I think I've missed anything off it. And like I said, guys, if you can think of anything that I've missed, put it in the comment section below. I'd love your help and your response, guys, and let me know what you thought of today's video. I hope this has helped you guys.